Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the late start to the stream. I forgot I was streaming for the most part, but we're streaming now. And we are back with the Polyphony Digital Trophy Season 2, Round 5 here at Tokyo Expressway. 3 minutes into qualifying now, and as you can see on the left-hand side, the first laps of the session have been started. Ruben Thorejo is the one who leads out, but Dominic Kavinsky in P2, and then Will Sutters in 3rd. So, pretty mixed now for the top 3. What's also interesting is there has been a BOP change in the latest update. What that means is all of the cars have been balanced a bit more, I think it's fair to say. Certainly the ones that have taken the biggest hit are the Hondas. Hondas who were not changed, or if they were changed, they weren't changed much. And the biggest beneficiary of that change is the Nissan GTR. However, the Nissan GTR is not on this grid at this moment. So, that's the news for the moment. There were some big BOP changes which has affected this season in particular. And double medium users are, of course, Witchell and Clark, race winners last week, both using mediums twice this week. Chubbs as well. Back from commentary last week is Captain Chubbs. He's just set the second fastest lap on the circuit at the moment, so good job from Chubbs. But yep, back from commentary last week, he's now racing again this week with his messed up finger. It's not broken, it's just something's happened to it, so he's going to give it as long as he can until it starts acting up again. New provisional pole from Jake Witchell. There he is now. It's Jake Witchell with the new provisional pole. But we're just going to, as always, have a look at the standings while qualifying goes on here. So the drivers' standings, Jake Witchell, man in question, leads out with a massive margin to P2. That's 242 points, and he is ahead of Dominic Kavinsky, his teammate, on 194 points. 3rd place goes to the reigning champion, Will Sutters, with 179 points, and Luke Clark with the newly buffed McLaren, 172 points. So expect that good form to continue for just a little bit longer. Tyler Davison follows behind Clark, and the gap further down is as close as ever. Constructors' Championship now, Team Spirit, that is Witchell and Kavinsky lead with a massive margin, 436 points ahead of LCRs. Ruben and Luke, 302 points. And then they are quite far ahead of Project One with 236 points. Project One being closely followed by 515. 515, you'd expect them to overtake Project One this round perhaps, certainly looking with the form of their 2 drivers. Still watching Witchell for this time round. Oh, Adam almost losing it in the background. But amidst everything, the conversation is, has the Honda gotten worse? Witchell's kind of saying otherwise. He's going 4 tenths purple. But yeah, the conversation has been, is the Honda worse? Is it better? Certainly, it hasn't really been buffed what everything else has. So really you'd think all this balance changes does is brings the grid closer, and certainly it has, as Will Sutters goes a tenth faster than Witchell, but we're still on board with Witchell as he's about to set a quicker time, you'd think. 56 dead, yep, so that's 2 tenths ahead of Sutters. But yeah, people complaining, saying that the Honda has gotten worse, but in reality I feel like everything's just kind of squished together a bit more. All the other cars have gotten more competitive, taking away the Honda's advantage. So there's definitely a couple drivers on this grid who haven't done so well so far this season. You'd expect them to do a bit better now. Also worth mentioning, I missed it last week. Dominic Kavinsky used one of his special liveries last week, and it's personally one of my favourite liveries he's ever made, full stop. But I didn't really speak too much about it on stream, unfortunately. But somebody who is in a special livery that I will speak about is Jake Witchell in this very nice cartoon-style livery. Always a big fan for them. Always got a lot of time for them. He's matching his personal best at the moment, but always got a lot of time for those kind of liveries, and he's done a splendid job with that himself. As is most of the time with these special liveries that the drivers use, most of the time they make them themselves. But Kavinsky, as we mentioned, he was in one last week. He's back in the normal one this week. And I believe they are the only ones with special liveries. Just watch Sutters and Easton at the moment, working together, giving each other a tow. Must be nice for Sutters to have a teammate once again. Hasn't had one for much of this season, but he's got a teammate. Hopefully he can get settled down now. Chubbs did hurt his finger while driving in this, funnily enough, several weeks ago, but seems he's at the point where he can drive well enough. He did the Super Formula League that we do every week. He did it last night and he actually won. So his finger held out for that long and he won the race. So every chance that we might see Chubbs in all 3 races tonight, and that would be nice. I've got to say, seeing both of these 515 Toyotas on track, they do look very, very nice. Yannick de Kuiper with an improvement. Does bump him up 1 position. There he is, P9. So Yannick goes up 1 position ahead of the allocated meme man of the league, Gerald Langstadler. As we speak of Langstadler, is he going to make an improvement? I say the meme man of the league. I don't think he's improving. He's warming up his tyres, so this is his next flying lap. But yeah, meme man of the league, for those who are not versed, for those who don't really know, goes on in the community and in the Discord, he makes the memes every single week. We make a meme compilation of what's going on, and this week's one, or last week's ones, were his best, in my opinion. So, you could count that as a man on form, maybe? Has certainly done something right so far this week. Who is improving though? You think Clark might be? He's certainly getting a bit of a tow there from Gabinski. Oh, he's not. 2.5 seconds down. Is Gabinski improving then? Gabinski now P6 at the moment. It might be an improvement. Coming down to the line, checker flag being waved. It's not an improvement, 6/10 down. So drivers found it difficult to improve after the initial laps. There's not really too many that set a lap late on, which ended up being their fastest lap. So at the moment, I believe it is Jake Witchell. Yeah, Jake Witchell is the pole sitter for tonight, and will be starting first in race 1. And then it's 515 filling out second and third. So the top 3 would be 2 515 cars. Easton doing a very good job with his engine thing goes. I think it's fair to say them 2 working together in this qualifying session to get that high. And then, excuse me. Excuse me. And it's the 2 LCR McLarens, 4th and 5th of Thorejo and Clark. And then 6th place is the other Team Spirit car in Dominic Gabinski. So the top 6 all in a Team Spirit sandwich. 7th, Adam Hands. 8th, Steinman Hart. And then it's Yannick de Kuiper and Charles Langstadler just came through to do his final lap just then, bringing up the rear off the grid. So, interesting qualifying session. Apologies again that we didn't catch all of it. I did kind of forget that I was commentating tonight. But for that, we were running a little bit late on schedule as well, but we're getting going immediately. Not giving any time to wait for anyone. Going into what can shape to be an interesting track. Last time this track featured in GTRC was the Season 10 World Touring Car Finale. And that was the race that Project One won the Constructors' Championship. So could we see a good race from Project One again? Maybe not as these qualifying positions show, but in this race we're focusing only on the top cars now. 5 red lights. And away we go. And it's a good start, as you'd expect, from Thorejo. By them, and Thorejo is already up into the lead. There he is now. Witchell has lost out on 2 positions there. Easton as well, not doing too well. Clark has decided to lay back after that initial good start. Maybe got himself tangled into some kind of incident, just giving that one back. But it is Thorejo who leads out the race ahead of Sutters. Sutters already trying to size up a move on the Spaniard. And Thorejo was defensive, but he didn't cover that line enough, and now Sutters has the inside. Thorejo forced to the outside. Sutters still side by side through those corners, and Thorejo has to let that one go through. In the background, you just saw Easton overtaking Witchell, and Witchell is on them soft tyres as well. So all these top 5, I believe, on the same tyre. Langstadler's moved up to P6, so something's happened to Kabinski. There he is there in P9, so maybe some kind of incident. He is quite accident prone at the start of these races, but Sutters, halfway point in the first lap, Sutters is the one who's leading the race, just ahead of Thorejo, about half a second gap between the two of them, and the gap is closing rapidly with that McLaren's straight line speed. But Sutters' teammate can act a little bit as a rear gunner, as he's currently put himself behind Thorejo, but Thorejo is already going back for that move, so is Witchell in the background. Thorejo doesn't make the move. Witchell does, though. Witchell on the inside, outside becomes inside. Oh, not quite made the move, sorry. So the order stays the same. Sutters, Thorejo, Easton, Witchell. Clark is looming in the background. Hasn't really made himself involved with this yet, just waiting for some kind of mistake from someone else. He'll pick up the pieces that way. Smart way of driving. But Clark, his teammate, is the one who's currently trying to chase down first place, and he's lost a lot of time in those S's, so much so that Easton and Witchell, while battling, have managed to catch him. And Thorejo pulls over to the racing line, which will give Easton the slipstream once again. But Witchell's still on the inside of this corner, and Witchell, you'd imagine, will make the move. And they're still side by side, and leaving room still does Witchell, but Easton eventually backs out of that one, and Witchell now pulls ahead, gaining the slipstream from the Spaniard ahead, you'd expect. Not quite a move here yet. Didn't quite get a good enough exit after that move from Easton, but pretty textbook overtake. Top 3 changes. I mentioned about the last time that we raced here, it was Project 1 that won the Constructors. You expect them to do well. So far, one of the drivers has done well. That is Charlotte Langstadler, currently in P6. Has got Adam Hands closely behind, and you expect Adam will make quick work of him given the opportunity. Adam has been very fast so far this season. The other Project 1 driver isn't doing too well, down in last place. This time at a heart. So, places to be gained for the Dutchman. Speaking of the Dutchman, P8 for Yanni Tekopa. Bit of a quiet start, I think, but not the worst imaginable. And Adam looked like he maybe had a move going on there, but he hasn't. Another week again with one JTB car. Adam all by himself, missing out on the JTB himself, Jake Birkenhead. So I think very soon there will be questions of, are they going to find a replacement driver for Jake, or is Jake going to come back next week? But that's been the question for the past several weeks now. Is Jake going to come back next week? And so far he hasn't. So the question might be, will Adam get a replacement? But I think the biggest question on everyone's minds is, can Witchell make this move? Gap is, well, it doesn't matter what the gap is, he's there. Witchell all over the back of the rear bumper of that McLaren. Now he has 2 options here. He could push Ruben Thorejo along with him to catch up to Will Sutters, or he can try and make quick work of him and catch up to Sutters on pace alone. But I believe he's taking option 1. Is he? No, he's taking option 2. He's going for the move. And he did make very quick work of Thorejo there. Ooh. Excuse me, I thought there was a move there. Easton almost taking out Thorejo, but it wasn't. Easton came nowhere near to taking out Thorejo, but Easton does have a chance to overtake him here. And Easton also makes very quick work of Thorejo. So Ruben Thorejo playing the long game. He understands that if there are cars around him quicker than him, he's not going to fight them too hard. But in saying that, Thorejo is already back alongside, and yeah, he's just pulled out there. So Ruben Thorejo playing the long game. He's not going to fight any of these moves too hard, as he gets to a point where it's just unnecessary, to be honest. Easton had to go defensive there, and Easton looked like, oh no, he didn't brake late, he brakes at the right time. Apologies. Be interesting to hear what the drivers think of this track, though. I'm personally quite a big fan of this track. We heard some people complain, other people say it's good as well. One thing that everyone was saying, though, is the Supra is supposed to be absolutely mental around here. The Supra is the car, according to this current BOP, and Sutters is proving that at the moment. 1.5 second lead to Jake Witchell. And it's the first time this season where Sutters has looked genuinely very competitive. Witchell just did set the fastest lap there, but yeah, good uptake in form from Sutters. This is a track he's raced in the past as well. And the car's improved, so I imagine he's in a good place at the moment, I think it's fair to say. Still not too much action going on. Certainly you'd expect a bit more considering the nature of the track. It is all pretty much straight lines, but only through what the track is. As always, when it comes to the Polyphony Digital Trophy, it's all tracks made by the game developer themselves, and this one is no different. It is a track inspired by the Tokyo Expressway, as the name would suggest. It's just the highway city roads that go through Tokyo, and the reason it was included was A, the developers are Japanese, and B, these kind of roads are very, very famous for street racing. So you don't often see these roads used for anything but street racing. Even in this game you don't see it used for anything but street racing. And speaking of that, if you want to know what kind of street racing happens, well, play Tokyo Extreme Racer, new game that just came out. But Eason and Thorejo were just battling there. Just caught a little bit of that, Eason and Thorejo battling, but Thorejo couldn't make the move there. Yeah, these are the kind of roads that you see in Tokyo Extreme Racer. And oh, there goes Clark, just ahead of Langstadler at a section of track which is in real life, by the way. That section of track is a real section of road in Japan. I know this because a friend of mine went to Japan recently and sent me a picture of that exact area. So it's quite trippy to go through, and I can imagine it is pretty trippy to go through. We did just see there, Langstadler made a mistake on the exit corner, and Clark has made his way back through. These two going at it, but we'll check back up the front, and the gap has come down between first and second, just over a second now between Sutters and Witchell, and Easton has been left for dust behind the Brighton man. In fact, side by side once again with the Galician, and Thorejo making easy work with Easton this time round. So there is certainly battling going on, but it's very much slipstream fest. It'll all come down to the last couple of laps, who is in the best position to make a slipstream overtake for the top positions. But it does make me wonder, though, what happened to Kubinski. Kubinski is currently in 8th at the moment. He's had a very poor race. Something happened to him on lap 1, and if I was doing interviews I would ask him after this race, but I'm not this time round. I've got to work in a 5-day work week. I'm very upset about it because I've just come off the back of a holiday. Speaking of a holiday, it was a holiday with the guy I'm spectating at the moment. I met up with him in real life, and he is just as annoying in real life as he is online, if anyone's spoken to him. But yeah, 5-day work week, so no interviews tonight. Sutters now is finding himself losing out to Witchell. Witchell is closing that gap quite significantly. That was 2/10 there in 2 corners. So Witchell does have the pace, and you have to say Sutters is going to have to pick it up a little bit. Sutters may be feeling that he's no longer got his teammate near him. It's just him and his opponent. Oh, Easton and Chubbs are still battling. I think Easton and Chubbs? Easton is Chubbs. Easton and Thorejo are still battling. I think Thorejo might have made some kind of error there because he lost that position and is now quite far behind Chubbs. But his teammate is being brought back into this. There's Clark. Clark having a very quiet race, I think it's fair to say, but Clark is back with his teammate in the other LCR McLaren. They leave the dock section, this track is actually called Tokyo South Docks. Just don't tell Luke that, because he will get very upset with you. It does seem like that there is a battle shaping up for third place. That could be spicy come to the final few laps, but we are pretty much on the final few laps now. There's not much left to go. This is only a 9-lap race this time round, so we are on lap 6. Threjo, you just see the advantage that McLaren still has on the straights. I mean, the Supra is also very quick now. That McLaren has gained a massive advantage going down that straight, and in turn has also towed along his McLaren teammate Luke Clark. Langshadler's fallen back quite a lot there. Did see him? He's just fallen back quite a lot there, and Adam Hands is not really having the race he would have wanted either. So it's been a bit of an interesting one, especially compared to qualifying times. The drivers you wouldn't expect to be as high as they are well, some drivers are out of position, basically. Someone who isn't out of position, though, is Will Sutters. He has picked up the pace once again, brought that gap back up to just over a second, so Sutters is doing a good job of controlling this race. Just got to keep at it. It's only realistically 3 laps left to go, 7, 8, 9. So 3 laps left. Sutters is the man in charge. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, Sutters is the man in charge. Pardon, just having a little breather. But we're back again on the back straight, and it is Threjo once again looking to make the move on Easton, and Threjo is in a very nice position to do it. Now all over the back of the Brit. And Threjo falls to the outside, Easton takes the inside. Could Threjo make the move done even before the corner? Easton brakes later than Threjo is able to, but was that too late? Looked like it might have been, as Threjo with the beautiful switchback. Easton's still there. Easton's pulled ahead once again. Threjo still side by side. Is he going to send it? Oh, it looks like he tried to, but again, those brakes on the Supra are way better than the McLaren. That's one advantage that every car has over the McLaren, is the brakes. So Threjo this time around just still has to sit there and settle for 4th, but you'd imagine this move will come soon. Certainly with the way that Threjo has been mounting these attacks, it might come soon. Once again, gap has increased out front between Sutters and Witchell, so Sutters doing an excellent job at the moment, not cracking under any of the pressure and controlling this race in a superb manner. Sutters has won a race before this season. Oh, well, Sutters has won a race this season, I believe. I think he's won a race this season, but if he hasn't, then this will be the one. He's doing a superb job. Again, no, Easton is under the pressure from Threjo. Threjo is much closer this time and much earlier. But once again, can't really do anything against that Supra. He catches on the straight, but it's, you know, the straight's not long enough to make the move. He has to do it into the corner, and Threjo as always falls to the outside, which means that Easton has the advantage when it comes to defending. So Threjo just hasn't really had the opportunity to go for a lunge, if you will. It's a very lungy circuit. One thing that's worth mentioning though is both Clark and Witchell are using the softs on this race. That does mean as they will both be on the mediums for the rest of the evening now. Something I just realised, but we are going on to the final lap, and already Thorejo is making the move there, and he's got his teammate to support him. Could his teammate also make the move there? It's a 3-car sandwich, but Thorejo does make the move stick, and he stays ahead of Easton. Now it's Clark's job to go up the order and join him. Though Clark isn't quite close enough this time around, I don't think, and Easton, using the slipstream of Thorejo, is going to try and make the move back. This is the fight for the final spot on the podium. Thorejo covers that one nicely. Easton tries around the outside, but doesn't have enough overspeed. He does get a really nice switcheroo. And now side by side, still going through the exit. Does Clark choose to push his teammate? I think he did a little bit there, but it's not enough. Easton has moved his way back ahead of Thorejo. But Thorejo is still in a brilliant position to make the same move that he just did. Much better so than the last time. And if he doesn't make it here, then this is where it ends for Thorejo. This is the last overtaking opportunity on the circuit, and already side by side, Thorejo into the wall, maybe understeered a little bit too much into the wall there, and Clark gets the chance now at Easton, or not enough. So Thorejo tried it there, but understeered off into the wall. Maybe Clark will be nice and let Thorejo go back through this one. I'm not too sure, but we will jump to the front of the pack again, and the gap did come down once again for Witchells and Suttles, but it wasn't enough. Sutters taking it easy through these last few corners as he wins the first race of the night. He wins the first race at Tokyo and wins the first race of the new BOP, where that Supra is supposed to be good, and he's really proven it there. Congratulations, Will Sutters. Controlled that race very well. Jake Witchell P2, and then it is Che Easton in P3. Luke Clark comes out. Luke Clark, yeah, there you go. He did slow down for his teammates. So it is Ruben Thorejo P4, Luke Clark P5, Joel Langstadler P6, just about stayed ahead of Adam Hans in P7. Dominic Kabinski in P8, and then it is Yannick de Kuiper in P9, and his fellow Dutchman in P10 in Steinwert Hart. So an interesting race indeed, but there is Will Sutters with the clean race bonus as well. But he didn't get the fastest lap in the end. That award did in fact go to Mr. Jake Witchell. But all in all, pretty interesting race. Lots of overtakes on the straights, as you'd expect. The track is mostly straights. Slipstream fest, but I think the takeaway from all of this is the cars have been brought closer together. The Supra has not been this close to the Honda so far. A lot of people are saying that the Honda does lag behind, and you do have to comment, in equal cars, Jake Witchell has always been quicker than everyone else, you know, depending on what car he's in. So certainly it does look like the Supra is a bit slower than, or the Supra is a bit quicker than the NSX at this point. But when you take the drivers out of the, or when you take the cars out of the equation and just compare who's in what car, we had a very close battle because of it. And Easton doing a very good job with his injured finger. Up in P3, looked like a very close battle between him, Thorejo and Clark. And I think Thorejo just went into the wall there by his own mistake, unfortunately. Nothing to do with Easton, but good showing from the LCR drivers. And Zolt Langstadler in P6, just ahead of Adam Hans. Pretty poor showing once again from Dominic Kabinski. We're not really too sure what happened there. Something happened on the first lap, and the whole race just kind of fell apart from that point onwards. If he hadn't had that incident on the first lap, certainly he would have been contending for that P3 position, looking at how much he lost on that first lap compared to all the other drivers on the grid. So unfortunate stuff from the number 2 Team Spirit car. And then in second to last and last place are the 2 Dutchmen on the grid. Yannick de Kuiper just about beating out Steinwert Hart in the end. But only 2 drivers on the grid into the 155. So Witchell and Sutters are in a league of their own tonight. Makes a nice change to see both of them in the league of their own. And I'm sure that we'll see plenty more of it for the rest of the evening. as always, we do have the reverse grid race next, so don't go anywhere. The racing isn't over. We have 2 more races. And the next one is a reverse grid with the false start check, most like the first one. And pole position will be Stijn van der Hart, I believe, yes. Pole position, Stijn van der Hart, followed by Yannick de Kuiper, and then Dominic Kubinski. So keep your eyes on Dominic Kubinski. He is starting on the mediums. Everyone's starting on the mediums. Yeah, pretty much everyone is starting on the mediums except for Ruben Thorejao and de Kuiper. So maybe don't keep an eye on Kubinski, maybe keep an eye on Yannick. 5 red lights. And we are away, and I'm going to do my best effort to turn off the music, but it is the McLaren drivers that got a good start. No surprises there. But it is Yannick who stays just ahead of Ruben Thorejao, already into P2, and so is Luke Clark in P3. So that's an insane start from the McLaren drivers. And now Yannick de Kuiper already all over the back. Oh, Yannick de Kuiper under a lot of pressure from Ruben Thorejao, and Ruben Thorejao already makes that move for the lead. Luke Clark, his teammate, is right there behind him. So Yannick has lost out massively on that start, but you'd expect that. All the cars start quite close to each other on the grid, so even if you do start far back, that McLaren is still going to be in a very nice position indeed. It's another pretty nothing start from Kubinski there. He's lost out to Hans, Clark, and now he's just lost out to Easton there. So there's all kind of battling going on here, but Clark is the one that leads it out. Then it is Easton. Well, they're all side by side going through here. It is 3 wide going through the tunnel, and Kubinski has a penalty, and Kubinski's in the wall as well. So there was bumping going on there. It looked very clumsy there. You wouldn't really want to send 3 wide into that corner, and that is exactly what's happened there. And Clark and Kubinski are the ones who have lost out in the end of that one. But Kubinski will have that penalty to serve, and now Langstadler looks like he's just lost out a lot there. Oh, this is a mess, this. Satters in P6, Witchell in P5. And Easton just about to make a move on Van der Hart. Although Van der Hart is not letting that one go. Van der Hart does stay ahead. So good defending from the Dutchie. And Easton forced to sit behind. Just behind them though is Witchell, Hans and Sutters. And Hans is trying to make the move around the outside of Witchell. Sutters was pushing him briefly along there, and Hans all over the guardrail there. Side by side once again. Stijn van der Hart and Che Easton. This time Easton with the inside, and Easton, well, last time Easton had the inside, and last time Stijn did exactly what he's just done to Easton once again, round the outside. And good defending from Stijn van der Hart. He's doing a very solid job here on equal tires to him, mind. And Stijn has the inside for this one once again. Can Easton go around the outside like Stijn has been doing all these corners? Easton's just done exactly what Stijn has been doing to him, use his own medicine against him. So now Easton finally makes that move ahead of the Dutchie, and now the Dutchie has to look out for Easton's teammate in Will Sutters behind him. There he is. And behind Sutters is Witchell, who's also trying to make a move. So the whole grid back here for the battle for P4 is very, very tight, or battle for P3 should I say, is very tight. And all there was contact there, I think, between Witchell and Easton, and Sutters. Sutters, I think, was the initiator of that contact, potentially. But it is Witchell who comes out in ahead. He's now in P3. And everything's going to die down a little bit. It's the follow-through section, S's. You have to do your best to keep with the car ahead. Wait for the next straight. But oh, there's contact there, and we saw that coming from a mile away, and that is Van der Hart and Hans. Look, my Van der Hart just had a spin there, hit Hans in the process. Hans didn't lose out too much on that, but Van der Hart did. Van der Hart tumbling down the order, and now he's back in last place, just like in the last race. Kabinski is making a move on Hans, and Hans also did lose out a little bit of positions there, but not as much as Van der Hart in the end. Jump back to the top of the grid, and it is Thorejo versus De Kuiper, the two soft runners, should I say, and they have a massive margin to P3, simply because they're on the fastest tyre and they're not battling as much as the cars behind them. Yannick De Kuiper is doing a very good job keeping with Thorejo. Thorejo is certainly not dropped him by any means. So if any there were a chance to get the first race win for Yannick in GTRC, this would be it. The new and improved Yannick, as he has been recently dubbed. Let's bear in mind, we had another Yannick, but this is the only Yannick now. There was a time where both these Yannicks raced with each other though, and that was weird. Didn't like it. We'll come back to probably where there's action. Easton is just leading out his teammate Satters. And Satters leads out Witchell. So it's the two 5-on-5 cars in third and fourth. And Witchell in P5. So they go through this fast corner. This track is a very high-speed focused circuit, but one of the most important corner sections on the circuit is the one that they are coming up to, this dock section, which is not as high speed as all the other corners. It's much more medium to low speed corners, so there is a variety in corners. And then also there's another very pivotal corner for the circuit, which is the hairpin, just coming up in separate corners. Time and all, they're sliding from Easton, and Easton's made a big error there, just caught on his teammate, and it was the Witchell who gained the most out of that one. So unfortunate for Easton. It looked like he was sliding out that corner and got caught on Satters, and Satters, being the good sport, being the good teammate, has let off for him. But someone who has really gained after a poor start is Dominic Kabinski. He's back up in the top 6 now, and he's close to that fight for the final podium position. So again, not the ideal start for Kabinski, but he's back in the fight where he should be. He's got his teammate just ahead of these two 5-1-5 drivers, so maybe they will coordinate something together. But honestly, Witchell's best bet is just to try and disappear up the road the best he can. Because at the moment, Easton looks like he's struggling. Maybe that finger is causing him some issues now, finding the wheel harder and harder to turn as the race goes on. Easton is not under pressure from his teammate behind, as his teammate, well, it's his teammate. You know, he's not just any random guy on the grid. You can always trust in your teammate. Although, in saying that, if I was Satters, I would be thinking of how I can get ahead soon, because Kabinski is all over the back of them. Dominic Kabinski, you have to say, is one of the quickest medium runners on track at the moment. He's doing a very good job, and he's already looking at a position where he can size up a move for P5. So give him time. This could pull off for Kabinski. He could cut that one close. I thought he cut that one close, and that is a penalty for the pole. So maybe spoke too soon. But Satters also picked himself up a penalty on a different corner. We didn't see that one, but Satters and Kabinski both with penalties, and I believe someone in the background as well. Clark, Hans, Stein, everyone with penalties. They all decided to pick up penalties in that one section. Everyone but Easton and Witchell The foremost of them all is pulling away a little bit. It's just being kept in touch, being kept in touch by the other drivers on the grid thanks to the slipstream. My stutter is especially bad today. Well, it's not really a stutter, it's just kind of slurring words. I'm not sat here going, sounding like a Honda Civic at 3 AM hitting the rev limiter. We're coming up to the penalty line now. And Sutters is the first of the cars to serve the penalty, and he won't lose much to anyone really, because everyone here also has to serve the exact same penalty he does. In fact, yeah, none of them are going to lose anything. They're all just going to lose touch with that battle for P4 now, I feel, because Easton is not really keeping up with Witchell in the way that he has to if he wants to compete for that P3. Sutters is just still in touch with Easton. In fact, he isn't really gaining on Easton again, and it appears that Gabinski is falling back. So Sutters kind of life been brought back into him after that penalty. It's fired him up. He's going for it as fast as he can. He's not got many laps left. Certainly, I think the only position he can realistically go for is P4 at this point. Unless Witch will make some kind of colossal error. But I'll tell you what, to make a change, we will jump to the front. There's Yannick, we just saw with the penalty. So Yannick is still P2, and the gap's increased between him and Thurejo, but it looks like at this point that Thurejo will be the one that will take the checkered flag first, providing there are no massive issues. Yannick, though, you have to say, has done a very, very good job keeping as close as he has done to Thurejo. Thurejo, bear in mind, has already won races this season, so Ruben's no slouch by any means whatsoever, and they're both setting some very nice lap times indeed. Although Yannick, it does look like he's beginning to fall back now, especially with a penalty too. He shouldn't be in any threat to Witchell though, as long as he just keeps his nose clean. He probably realises now that that first place is falling away, so just drive it in energy saving mode essentially and let the rest do the work. He guaranteed P2. Solid job from Yannick, I think it's fair to say. Very good job. Had a very good race last week as well. I believe he set his personal best last week. I think it was P4. So this is a new personal best if he can finish in this position. Yeah, everyone's kind of spaced out a bit more. Kabinski is one of them, just fallen back quite hard. Clark is 2 and a bit seconds behind Kabinski as well. Hans in tow, but Hans cannot catch up despite slipstream, so maybe that NSX has genuinely fallen off compared to the other cars, certainly a little bit more than, well, I feel like it was quite exaggerated. You know, the NSX is still good, but it's gone from being very good to good. I wouldn't say it might be the worst car now. It might be the worst car now, especially on a track like this where the McLaren is as quick as it is. McLaren would have been quick around here, even on the old BOP. If you don't know what BOP is, by the way, BOP is balance of performance, and essentially every single update Gran Turismo does to the game, they change the balance of performance to kind of bring all the cars closer together and make one faster than the other, make one slower than the other, and it's constantly changing. These cars hadn't had their BOP change for a while. Ooh, contact there between Witchell and Easton. But these cars hadn't had their BOP change for a while. Certainly all of last season they weren't really changed, and the start of this season they weren't really changed, but now they have been changed. Literally just last Thursday, after the race we had last week, they were changed. So that's why we're talking about some cars getting quicker, some cars getting slower. It's essentially as if all the teams but Honda had brought upgrades to their car. That's really what it's simulating here. Because the Honda hasn't gotten slower, it's just everything else is much quicker than it used to be. Also on that Thursday update, there was also a change to the physics, which is not something you'd see in real life. It's just to change how the tyres behave, all that lot. That's usually all the changes. And there it goes. Switching positions between the 515 drivers. That one looked premeditated. But yeah, I'm not really too educated to tell you too much about physics change and BOP change, because I'll be honest, the only times I come on in this game are for the Super Formula race that I did last night and for commentating for this league. Other than that, you know, and liveries. I do liveries as well. How about that? Speaking of, I've done several of the liveries on this grid. Usually I do a bit more, but this season I think I've only done the Project 1 car, which I'm not upset about. Less work for me. Ooh. So I thought Easton had braked late there again, but he hadn't. So Easton, yeah, it looks like he's recently struggling a bit. But once again, it is a close fight for third place. It's a three-way fight for third place. Which is the one that leads this time round. It's the two 515 cars behind him. As always, if you are enjoying the racing action, we are on to the final lap now of the second race. We've got one more after this. And if you're enjoying it, then subscribe to the channel, put on the bell, or just remember to search up Pine GTS. But it's easier if you just subscribe, so you don't need to search up every single week. But we'll be back next Wednesday, same time as always, to do the next week of this brilliant racing series. It's always close racing, just like it is tonight. We're on to the final lap of the second race, and it is still Witchell who has just over half a second lead to P4. So he does lead out for the final podium position. But we'll jump to first place, and that is still Ruben Thorejao. So Ruben going for another win this season and really showing what that McLaren can do. No complaints there about Ruben's night whatsoever. He's done a very good job. Coming on to the final few corners now is the Spaniard. He takes this Monaco-esque hairpin. No, not really a Monaco-esque hairpin, but you know, the tightest corner on the circuit is very slow. We don't really have many slow-speed street circuits in this game. I don't think we have any slow-speed street circuits in this game. It would be nice to see. So that is the only Monaco-esque section of the circuit. Just coming through the follow-through S's, and then it's up through to the final corner. It is Ruben Thorejao with a 5 seconds lead to P2. Was it ever in doubt? Here comes Ruben Thorejao to win his, I believe, second race of the season, and he takes the fastest lap as he does it, 156.2. Yannick de Kuiper, though, impressive race from the Dutchman. He takes his personal best in GTRC, that is a P2. His best results so far this season as well. Jake Witchell P3, Will Sutters P4, Che Easton P5, and then it's Dominic Kabinski in P6. Luke Clark takes home P7, Adam Hans P8. Steimer de Hart comes up to the finishing line to take P9, and then Charles Langstadler just drifting around at the back of the grid. He had a bad race this time round, so making the most of it at the back of the grid. Is he going to do another slide? Yes, he is. Oh, but he spun it. Unfortunate. I might have to give him some drift lessons. I used to do a lot of drifting back in the day, so I might give him a hand. Bazold Langstadler, a lap down. I think maybe he might have had some kind of issue, had to go for something, but he is finishing the race. There he is now, Bazold Langstadler with P10. And pole position for the next race does the Magyar have. But yeah, impressive race from Thorejao, and a very impressive race from de Kuiper, keeping up with Thorejao for such a long margin of that race. Only 5 seconds between de Kuiper and Thorejao. You have to say Yannick did a very good job in that race. That is his league best result and his season best result. So well done, Yannick. Good job. And the two LCR drivers as well, congratulating him. So good sportsmanship between the drivers there. But in the end, it was the first of the two LCR drivers that came out on top to win the race with a 156.2 fastest lap. So not quite on Witchell and Sutter's levels that we saw in the last race, but a solid result from Thorejo. Didn't really have to fight too many people. That is easy to admit. He didn't start high up the grid, but he had a very good launch off the start and only had to fight one other guy on the softs. So Thorejo certainly had to fight for harder races, but a win is a win at the end of the day, and that was a very good one indeed from the Spaniard to Kuiper. As we said, impressive P2 finish result, and then it is P3 for Witchell in the final podium spot. Then we have the two 515 cars right next to each other in 4th and 5th. The second Team Spirit car, there he is in P6. And then P7 goes to the second LCR car, so couldn't quite have the result that his teammate had. Got caught up into some fights and also had a disadvantage on the tyres, but not too bad from Clark, still coming home 7th. And then Adam Hans in P8. P9, Stoneman Hart, and P10, Scholt Langstadler. So another poor result from the Project 1 team, and you'd expect the 515 has overtaken them now in the championship. And yeah, my suspicions were correct. Super had to go for whatever reason, and it seems he has had to go for that reason again. We're into the final race of the night, and it is night now on the circuit. And we'll just watch tonight's race winner, Will Sutters. Go down the back straight, leading out Adam Hans, but we're on the third and final race of the night coming up now. Excuse my yawning. And we're about to get away. The third race, as always, is a rolling start. So we have two standing starts and a rolling start, and this one is the rolling start. Scholt Langstadler leads out his teammate Steinway Hart in second place. And then it's Adam Hans in the third NSX in third place. So there's really been a change of the order. I think it's fair to say 3 NSXs in the top 3 for the third race. That's unheard of. So yeah, the BOP has changed about quite a lot. Just means we get to see this beautiful Project 1 livery a bit too much, a bit more. No bias whatsoever. I definitely didn't make this livery or anything. But Langstadler leads out the grid going through turn 1, and already there seems to be a move in the background. That's one of the 515 cars down the inside. We'll just keep on board with the front. It's the two 515 cars going side by side, and now the two Project 1 cars going side by side as well. And Van der Hart's not hanging around. Van der Hart makes that move. Langstadler isn't going to fight it too hard, doesn't want to ruin his own teammate's race, let alone trip over around his own teammate. Ooh, Luke Clark hit the wall there, we saw in the background. So Luke Clark had a little bit of a moment, but he is still ahead of Sutters and Easton. Van der Hart has picked himself up a penalty, so cut the inside of that left-hander more than likely. But Langstadler is now under a bit of pressure from Hans. He knows his teammate's got the penalty too, so this in the end is really the battle for the lead. Langstadler versus Hans. In the background though, there's also side by side between Sutters and Witchell. I thought that was Clark who was there. No, it is Sutters and Witchell, and Kabinski's pushing Witchell along. So two teammates working together. Witchell is on the medium tyres. I'm sure Kabinski definitely knows that. Sutters on the softs. Sutters on the yeah, Sutters was on the mediums last race, so Sutters is on the softs. Easton also on the softs, and this is the kind of racing we do like to see at this track. It is so close. It's a shame it doesn't really stay this extremely close for the whole race, but that's racing. Van der Hart, there we go. Thought we were going to catch him serving that penalty, and he has. He's just served it now. And this is where Langstadler pulls ahead. Van der Hart pulls back in front of Hans. So it's still a Project 1 turn 2 Project 1-2, sorry. As I say that, Hans takes away the Project 1 turn 2. Project 1-1-2. See, I've just done it again. I don't know why I keep calling it Project 1 turn 2. Excuse me. So Van der Hart just slots it back in behind Adam. Will Sutters is catching up onto the back of Simon Tahar, and Sutters is going purple as well. I expect all the cars to be going purple. I think all of them will be going purple. Have to be doing a pretty catastrophic job to not be going purple at this point, but there is a move going on for the lead. Hands on Langstadler. Doesn't quite make the move there though. There is the move for the lead. Sutters with the new fastest lap, but Hans does take the lead there. And Sutters looks like he's trying around the outside of Van der Hart. Van der Hart defends it well, but Sutters does get the move in the end. So Hans is the new race leader. Sutters has just moved himself up into P3 as well. And Langstadler still finds his way up in that top 2. So Langstadler not having a too bad start to this race, I think it's fair to say. Langstadler's under pressure from all Sutters. Sutters making a move for the hairpin. Langstadler broke very late there, and Sutters has to make the move. Sorry, excuse me. Oh, excuse me, my fucking commentary's awful tonight. Spaced out completely. Sutters made the move there ahead of Langstadler, and now Sutters is looking for an overtake once again into the lead of the race. Could be a 2 wins tonight for Will Sutters, but Adam Hans will be looking for his first win of the season, I'm sure it's fair to say. Lap 4 now of 9 laps, so almost at the halfway point. Sutters and Hans side by side going into second corner. Who's going to be the bravest? Who's going to brake latest? And it was Hans that broke latest, but did he brake too late? No, he broke at the perfect time. Sutters was looking at a move there. Chubbs, Easton in the background, just doing a very good job getting past. I believe that was Van der Hart. And Gawinski is also going to be moving on to those Project 1 drivers soon. Sutters has finally dispatched of Hans. Doing so and taking so long to do so, his teammate Easton has caught up onto the back of Hans as well. So Sutters might actually have a bit of a buffer. Hans is already getting in the slipstream. It's the hairpin now. Oh, Hans was thinking of jumping to the inside there, but Easton was on that inside and there was contact there between the two of them. That's unfortunate, that one. Yeah, Hans looked like he was going for that inside just to a last second switch to that inside line on Sutters. Easton was there, and now it is a 5-1-5-1-2. There you go. Not calling it a turn 2 or whatever I was calling it. I think I was calling it a turn 2 earlier. It's 5-1-5-1-2. And then Hans in third, Van der Hart in fourth, and Kabinski did make work of Langstadler, so did Kabinski's teammate Witchell. Oh, almost. Van der Hart. We just saw that Van der Hart went off into the wall there, and he span back onto the circuit and almost took out Kabinski. And there's a joke between me and Kabinski about Stein somehow getting an incident every single race this season, and I think there's that. There it was, but Kabinski comes out unscathed. And now Kabinski has a chance to gain to the top 3. He's already gaining quite quickly on Hans, and Sutters and Easton aren't really pulling away as much as they had the same pace, you know, earlier on tonight. At the moment, Kabinski is the fastest man out on track. But he's got a big mountain to climb if he wants to go for that win. Easton leads the race now, and he is going purple. And you can't imagine the Sutters and Easton are going to fight too hard, especially considering that they're teammates. But Sutters goes for the last second dive to the inside, and Easton isn't going to defend that one like his life depends on it. Oh, cool. God, there is contact there, and that is Hans almost being spun out there, but it just looked like Kabinski positioning in his car in a way where Hans wouldn't get spun out there. I think some of that would have been Kabinski's fault if Hans did spin out. And now Kabinski is going for the move down the inside, and that looked very scruffy, that one. All started by Easton coming back onto the racing line after braking very, very late. Nothing wrong, any of the drivers did, nothing wrong. But they avoided what could have been disaster. Hans has just fallen back behind Witchell, I think. Not sure how that's happened, I kind of missed that one, but Hans has fallen back behind Witchell, so now it's the two Team Spirit drivers in third and fourth, chasing down the two 515 drivers in first and second, but the gap is a lot larger now than it was last time round, and Sutters is the one who's leading those two 515 drivers, so 3 laps left to do it. Can they do it? I'll be completely honest, I'm not too sure. As always, anything can happen. But can it happen for Kabinski? Kabinski is obviously fastest on track at the moment with that fastest lap. He first has to dispatch Easton with a 1.2 second lead. He'll have to hope the 515 drivers start battling again, because that way there'll be no chance for Kabinski to catch up. But if these 515 drivers start racing together, then there's no chance for Kabinski anyway. They'll have to work together with Witchell, and Witchell isn't quite close enough yet. Witchell's still under pressure from Hans, and Witchell's also on the mediums. But they are battling, just missed that. They are battling, and Easton has gone for the move once again for the lead. And Easton does lead this race once more. But even in doing that, Kabinski made some kind of error going through that corner there, because he has fallen back by about half a second to the top 2 cars. These two are still absolutely going at it, and it is Will Sutters trying to find any gap he can get, but Easton's doing a very nice job, and if Easton can somehow pull this one off with an injured finger, that would be 2 wins in a row for him on 2 days. 55.7, that is the fastest lap so far of this race, and one of the fastest laps of the night as well. 3rd driver to get into the 55s on race pace, so really nice work from Easton. He is flying at the moment. His first race win of the season, and as I said, he won a race last night as well in a separate league. So can he do it? already his teammate has gone for the move back on him, so Satter's not making it easy. Kaminski is still just over 2 seconds behind, so this is really now a two-horse race for the lead. And it is Easton, the trailing of those two horses. Satter's won a race earlier tonight. Easton hasn't won a race yet this season. Easton didn't win a race last season either, I don't think. He's got it all to gain, nothing to lose. Satter's, meanwhile, is involved in a fight in the top three, I think. Following tonight, Satter's has just overtaken Kaminski once again for second in the standings, but still a big mountain to climb to Witchell. Witchell, though, who is currently in P6, so struggling off at the back of a win last week, having to use mediums twice. Easton just following behind closely. 2 laps to go. Excuse me. 2 laps to go. Easton versus Satter's. Easton does try it around the outside there, and it's side by side going through these corners, Easton and Satter's still holds out ahead of Easton, but Easton is trying everything he can for that move. Easton is now going purple, but Easton's going purple, you'd imagine Satter's is also going purple, so they're both very, very quick at this stage in the race. Easton wants to take the lead and get this race win. He's not got many chances left to do it, but I'll just go back for a second because I've just noticed something on the timing board on the left. Langshadler's in P4. I don't know at what point that happened, but Langshadler is still doing a solid job, and that's P4 for the Project 1 driver, so still doing a pretty good job. He is. He's got 2 very fast guys behind him in Hans and Witchell. They're both battling quite hard, so that will help him out. Kaminski's still in no man's land, and Easton's falling back a little bit to Satter's. Come on, Chubbs, you can do this. Take that first win of the season. It's been a long time since Easton has won a race, actually. He didn't win one last season. So, everyone likes to take the piss out of Chubbs for not winning races and for spinning every single time he gets in the chance to win one, but surely this is his chance. It is falling away from him, though, as we are on the final lap, and the gap is getting bigger than it ever has been. What a shame if Easton cannot pull this one off, but he'll have other chances. I think that is the important part. That Supra looks mighty fast now, so Easton will get other chances to win. That is the takeaway from this. Always look on the bright side. Witchell, something's happened to Witchell. Witchell's fallen quite far down now. Witchell's fallen down to 9th. I do wonder what's happened to him. Might have had some kind of incident or a crash there, but he's fallen down to 9th, and he's now battling Luke Clark for P8. Jump back up to the front. It's business as usual. Satter's looks primed to be taking home. Oh, a little slide there. Looks like he's in the prime position to take home a second win of the night, and that is a very solid work, a very solid job from Satter's. But as always, Chubbs doing a very good job, followed close behind. These two kind of inseparable tonight. And Chubbs has done a very nice job also. In the end, coming home with what looks to be a P2. Just about missing out on his first win of the season, but not too bad whatsoever. But it is. Sutters takes home second win of the night. It is a 5-1-5, 1-2. And then Kabinski, P3. Langstadler, he's very happy with that P4. P5 for Hans, 6th for Thorejo, 7th for Van der Hart, 8th for Witchell, 9th for Clark, and then it's 10th place for Yannick Takaiba. So couldn't quite really do what he did in the last race, but he was on those medium tyres and started near the back of the grid anyway. Here comes Yannick. I'm sure he will not be upset by that whatsoever, following a very nice race last time round. But in the end, it is the first of the 5-1-5 drivers in a 1-2, up 6 positions. Congratulations to Will Sutters. Very nice job from him tonight, all around. But him and Easton were on absolute form tonight. Also, I think it's worth saying, a very nice job from Chubbs. We know how much his finger hurts after driving the car for too long, so he's done a very good job to be as quick as he has been tonight as well. Gabinski kind of salvaged his night a bit. It was a P8, then a P6, and now a P3 for Kabinski in the last race. Langstadler as well salvaged it a bit with a P4. Hans, bit of a quiet race, or a bit of a quiet evening tonight. The P5, and then it's Thorejo, race winner tonight, but it was only a P6 he could salvage or manage in the final race. Van der Hart, another quiet race, or another quiet night, should I say, P7, and then Witchell, something happened to him near the end of that race because he was higher up, but Witchell only comes 8th. Clark, as always, struggling on those medium tyres. He's never really enjoyed the medium tyres on the McLaren. That is Yannick, who pulls up the rear of the grid in P10. But as always, cheers for everyone who tuned in and watched the stream tonight. It's a pleasure as always. Apologies for starting it a little bit later than usual. I well and truly genuinely forgot that I'm supposed to be streaming. But yeah, we will catch you all same time next week. Cheers, lads. Cheers a bunch.